I gotta tell you, I'm most excited about the fact that students and their reaction to the building has been absolutely amazing. They are so excited to be back and to be back in such an amazing building. To come in the morning and see students sitting on the couches and at the tables, reading books and studying and just feeling so comfortable in the building. That was the premise behind the whole building, was that it was student-centered and that students would want to be here.
So the intent was to have a variety of spaces for students to just hang out with their friends, for staff to bring their classes out and have classes in the common space, in the courtyard outside the commons. And then just the proximity of the classrooms to those areas and the front office to those areas. And it encourages people to hang out and be there, and it creates space for our community to hold gatherings and utilize the facility to its fullest extent. The safety and security of our students and our staff is at the forefront every day. The lockdown system on the doors and the card lock system for staff to enter and exit the building, and those types of technological changes will be very beneficial.
I think the spaces will change the learning environment and the learning experience of the students, just because we have so many different spaces. We have the choir room, which has a lot of new ensemble rooms and new practice rooms for our kids to do sectionals in. We have an outdoor space where we're actually planning on using that this spring for musical rehearsals. We have a brand new black box theater, so kids can use that to create scenes and work on scene work. And in the past, we've had to kind of compete with different classes in different areas, and so to have our own designated space for drama kids to do that type of thing will be really great.
The band and choir facilities will make a difference, because like the cafetorium, the spaces that we had, especially square footage wise, were not adequate. The amount of people we have in our program greatly exceeds the amount of people we're able to fit comfortably, and the spaces are not practical for rehearsing because the acoustics were really non-existent, and having the decent acoustics in the new spaces is going to be a great benefit to our programs.
I play flute in the wind ensemble, and I was in the pit orchestra last year, so it was just our facilities were always a tad lacking, I think, especially in comparison to how well developed our performing arts program was. So I'm just really excited to be able to go back into a space that has all the physical space we need and also all the equipment we need.
When we envisioned this space, we really wanted to have a space that was going to support and promote the nexus of arts and broadcast. And so there's a lot of things that you can't see that are kind of buried in the walls that allow us to do that in a manner that when our students leave, they're going to have a window into a profession that very few other places could offer them. The stage is large enough for a full symphony orchestra. The backstage spaces can support that. There's a warm-up space that's large enough to have a group of that size. And we could do guest interviews in the TV studio. And those could be live streamed. We could cut immediately to any one of the 5 or 6 camera feeds here on stage. All of them are a state-of-the-art camera feed. The person at the front of the house mixing position only has to focus on mixing audio for the people who are live in the space. All of that audio is immediately live in the audio studio. Somebody there can be mixing a professional level mix on state-of-the-art gear and sending a finished product to the TV studio, where they can be taking the camera feeds, finished audio, and broadcast. We really wanted to be able to combine the audio media production facility with the audio part of that and be able to teach them both together and separately, because there's so many content strains that they need to learn. Students can kind of develop in either one of those, or they can kind of mesh them together.
I think I'm the most excited about all of the support spaces that we have in this new Performing Arts Center. As a teacher, as an educator, as a theater person, those spaces help our students to be able to function like it's a real theater, but also just to be able to go in a green room and put on their makeup and have laundry and have dressing rooms and have all of those things, I think will just make presenting productions here just so much easier and flow really, really well, and I'm just excited for that.
I am most excited about the performing arts spaces, such as like the auditorium. We got to take a glimpse in, and I almost started crying because I'm just so excited to be able to perform in a big space and get that idea of professionalism versus performing in a cafeteria.
I am most excited about the new theater space. The stage and the fly space and the common areas next to it are just really exciting because it's not something we've ever had before. The dressing rooms and the makeup rooms are super exciting, even though they don't sound very exciting, but a space all to our own to store our stuff is perfect. It's just what we've needed.
Our drama program, our band program, our choir program, they're all phenomenal and they put on amazing productions all the time. We've been so limited in the past to how we can capture those and share them. And so this new space just allows us to not only have video students that are doing the editing and the broadcasting, but also for them to take those skills and to share them with other programs. And that wasn't something that we could really do. And so it's nice the way that we're able to combine the spaces. So the new theater works with the broadcasting studio and they're interfacing so well.
So we have 4 spaces in the arts department. The first one is the pottery classroom, and it is really large. And then there's another classroom that is for all the, I call it the clean art. So for drawing, painting, and then upstairs we have another full large art classroom where students will be able to do sculpture and jewelry making, soldering, jewelry, metalsmithing, and then we have a maker's lab that has 3D printers and other maker lab materials. The spaces are beautiful, and I think that students are going to find the same thing. They're going to want to come to school, they're going to want to do art. I'm really overjoyed.
I think with the new facilities, what I'm most excited for is the spaces, because there's all these brand new things, and I think that I'm also really excited for is having some new pottery stuff. We have a lot of space and we have some electrical that you can see right above me.
I'm most excited about the new art rooms because there's just so much space. There's different spaces for different art things. It'll be really nice to not be cramped into a tiny little room where there's not enough storage for all of our pieces and stuff.
With all this new construction, I think what I'm most excited about is the spaces for students just to be. As someone who puts together activities, spaces for events, whether they be dances, whether they be chances to showcase student talent, or just fun spaces. I think these facilities are going to have a huge impact on phys ed as well as sports. I've already seen the impact of having our training facilities right next to where we're having practices, how much easier that makes things. Definitely the athletes have already seen a big impact.
These new facilities are going to benefit physical education like you can't believe. Bottom line is we're just going to have more space. For so many years we've been limited to just one gym, and so there's an awful lot of times when people couldn't get in and use it, both for PE classes, when it comes to our athletic teams, and then also for the larger community. I mean, you got to realize that gym spaces are used by the entire community year-round. It's not just for the high schools, and so having that done, the changes that we made out at the stadium, I think, are also going to be very helpful for getting people out and active and engaged more. In this new gym, in fact, we can split it in 2. We can play basketball crossways, so that helps with our youth programs. We can split it in half. That helps with our PE programming. It helps with the ability to have multiple teams practicing at the same time. In the new space, we've put in big projectors so they can do for class gatherings. The different classes can come in and do things, special events that our leadership programs can put on.
The JV and freshman basketball teams have been practicing and playing at Memorial ever since, for a while. And so having a new gym right next to where the varsity plays will be super cool to connect, because then if we want to have a practice where all the teams come together, they just walk over. And it's a super cool new space for all the PE classes and stuff to use.
I feel like the athletic facilities will just continue to have positive impact on the athletes here, because we'll be supported in our athletic pursuits with really, really nice facilities. I feel like the new space sets up the future generations for a more wholehearted look at education, because we're recognizing a lot more impact of CTE and career and art and all that, rather than just core classes and core curriculum. And I think this space really supports that.
Specifically for the pathway in CTE of health occupations, we are going to be able to use this as a classroom. We are going to be able to use the training room that's used for athletic training for a couple periods a day, but also I can use it for health occupations. So when we do vital signs, when we do assessments, when we can do anything that's hands-on, we can use that space. So everybody has space to spread out. We're not on top of each other. They can be on the training beds. It'll give a more real life experience than just, hey, this is kind of what this is like. Because we have state-of-the-art equipment, we have a state-of-the-art facility now, students are gonna end up graduating with more experiences and then kind of elevate that level and be a little bit more prepared to be out in the real world.
I think the new facilities are going to impact the learning experience of new generations just by having proper equipment and proper spaces to do things. The therapy and muscle treatment room, like we've had one of those before, but it was very small and like there wasn't much to do, but I hear now that we're going to have 2 whirlpool ice baths along with a very impressive counseling center that's, you know, has privacy screens and stuff like that. A lot of the new spaces are designed to help the learning process.
I feel like these new spaces will really impact our learning experience by just allowing us to have more options to sit down and study with other students. And even like in the classroom, I think it'll be nice to not feel so constricted in a classroom. It allows us to be outside and just like enjoy the fresh air, and it will like give us more of a relaxing environment to really be able to like settle down and focus on our studies.
The improvements made to this campus help us meet our collective mission at GAPS, where we build bridges to lifelong learning and brighter futures. Nearly 4 years ago, in May of 2017, Greater Albany voters approved a $159 million capital construction bond to update and improve school facilities and construct additions to relieve crowding and improve instructional space. The bond has been a true community effort, with 53% of all construction work going to local contractors, amounting to over $84 million reinvested here in our community. Thank you to HMK, as well as to all of the contractors, including Girding Builders and DLR Group, our architects, for their incredible work.
I think one of the things that I'm really proud of is Susie's vision. Her vision was she wanted it to feel like a living room. She wanted it to feel like someone's home, that the kids were invited in and they would feel welcome, and she's done it. It really takes a team of probably thousands of people to today open and cut the ribbon for you to be able to come in and see this great facility. This has been a great project. We're excited to have been a part of it. We thank you for trusting us to manage this and to represent you as your owner's representative.
This school is so rich with tradition because of the people who have been part of it. I want to thank our community for this amazing gift, to our students, staff, and community for years to come.
Can you guys help me with a 1, 2, 3? 1, 2, 3. There you go.
This space will impact the learning environment in ways that we can't even imagine. We were in a cafetorium, our cafeteria, for our musicals, and now they will have a state-of-the-art auditorium that I can't even imagine what the musicals will be like, and what the plays and the band concerts and the choir concerts and just everything that students will learn, from lighting to sound to just being involved in that kind of a space for students is unbelievable. And I feel the same way about the classrooms, the art classrooms, the design of them, the Makers Lab. I think that we are going to take learning to a whole new level for years to come.
What I am hoping is that the new theater will provide motivation and inspiration for upcoming generations of kids. When they come in and they're in a beautiful performance space and they stand on stage, I'm hoping that they'll get excited about performing, and they'll get excited about being in the theater arts, and they'll get excited about being in choir and band. Because standing on that stage, I think for future kids is going to have a huge impact in that inspiration piece. So I'm looking forward to that.
Albany has never had a home for performing arts, certainly nothing like this. And so to be able to invite Willamette Valley Concert Band and Albany Civic Theater and all these other arts organizations that exist in the Mid-Valley to our school district, and be able to provide them with just such a stunning performance venue. It opens doors for our students to be able to serve that community, but it also allows the community that invested in the space to really be able to reap the benefits of that investment.
It's been wonderful to watch this new facility be built. Being an alumni myself, my father being an alumni, and then my kids actually went here too, and so all of us went through actually the older building, and so to see this come online is just, it's really special. I feel like, the investment that's been made here is gonna go on another 60, 70, 80 years and just continue to serve students, families, generations of Albany residents.